In today's video, we're going to be installing some JDM taillights from Aerolution, along with how to properly take off your stock taillights. Prior to removing my stock taillight, we're going to go ahead and mask the surrounding area so that we don't accidentally scratch my paint. And it should look something like that. You'll repeat that on the other side. We're going to go ahead and remove this plastic trim piece right here using one of these. And it should pop out like that. Next, we have two screws, one of them being right there and then another one being down here. Let's go ahead and remove those and you should be left with that. We're gonna go ahead and remove the tail light now. What you'll wanna do is you wanna grab it, kind of wiggle it out. Don't do it too hard and it should pop out just like that. You'll wanna go ahead and disconnect this cable right here, and then we're gonna go ahead and disconnect this cable right there. Now, in order to remove this specific clip, it's like a pinching clip that's in there. So with a flat head, kind of push it on one side and it comes out like that. So what you're left with is two cables that go connected into your stock tail light, and then these two other cables that are used to connect your rear diffuser light. We're gonna go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Now, in order to remove the lights that are on the trunk, we're gonna go ahead and remove all these specific push pin clips right here. So there should be a total of 9. If you don't have one of these tools, you can just go ahead and use a normal flathead screwdriver. Once we removed all of them, we can go ahead and slip this out. And now we have access to the connections there and the connections over here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this connection right here. And then we're gonna remove the connection up here. We already went ahead and removed these. After we remove those 3 cables, we have 3 nuts that we have to remove. So we have one right here. We have another one right there, and then we have another one tucked away back here. We're gonna go ahead and use a 10 mil socket to remove all 3 of them. This screw right here, we're gonna go ahead and push it up a bit once we have the trunk a bit lower. That way the taillight pops out. We're gonna go ahead and repeat that on this side. And this should be the result of removing all these stock taillights. Inside the trunk, we're gonna go ahead and pop out these push pins right here. The reason we're doing that is because we need to push this rubber divot through, just like that. And I need access back here for all the cables. Once we've removed all the clips, it should look something like this. This is what we should have access to. I want to point out that these taillights came packaged very well and they're very safe during shipping. This is the aftermarket taillight that we're going to go ahead and install. This whole cable right here that you see is actually going to go through that hole right there. It already has the rubber divot included. And it should look something like that. Alrighty guys, so we are currently underneath the car. We went ahead and disconnected my diffuser light with this connection that's down here. This is the splitter cable that I was referencing earlier in the video. I'm gonna find a way to route the bottom of this cable down here. That way I'm still able to have my diffuser light connected. So what we went ahead and did was we pulled the weather trim piece here. And then what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna route this cable through the little inseam right there, and then I'm gonna move this cable up towards where the other things are. So I'm just gonna tuck them in behind the thing there, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and connect the weather piece back in. The cable for the rear diffuser light is right there. We're gonna go ahead and get that plugged in. So the cable is connected right up there, and the excess cable, so this is your diffuser, it's tucked in underneath here, zip tied to this little hole right here, and then the rest of it is just tucked in here. Now that we have the diffuser light routed through the weather trim and back up, I made sure that there was not a lot of tension so that I wasn't pulling on the cable and possibly damaging it. These are the original cables from the stock taillight, and then these 2 connections right here are the ones from the aftermarket taillight that we're installing today. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna grab this gray cable, we're gonna go ahead and connect it into orange right here, and you should hear it click. On the diffuser cable, we're gonna go ahead and grab this specific cable, and then we're gonna go ahead and connect it, oops, wrong way. We're gonna connect it like so. You should hear a snap. The remaining cable is gonna go connected into this black one over here. Just like that, everything's been connected. On the outside of the car, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna line up these 2 pins with these 2 holes right here. You can lightly press onto it, and it should look something like that. Now I'm grabbing the upper portion that goes on the actual trunk. We're gonna go ahead and put it on like this. On the bottom of this specific taillight, we have the bolt right here. So we have the little hex nut that we took off, and then we have the other bolt right here, and another bolt right there. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that these cables go through this hole right there, and it should look something like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and gently lift the trunk up. So we have the hex nut that's going to go right there. Make sure that when you're tightening this in, you're pressing down on the taillight with your other arm so that there's no gap. Next, we have this other bolt right here, and it's going to go right there. Make sure you're pressing down, and we have one more back here. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them up. Once we've tightened it, let's go ahead and gently close the trunk, make sure that there's no fitment issues. I'd say that's pretty good. We have these remaining cables right here. We're just going to go ahead and connect them. And then we have one missing cable right here, but this will be important later in the video. And then we have this remaining cable. We have to connect the cable here, route it down here, but I'm going to show you guys really quick. So we have this cable right here. One of the entrances goes in there, and then if we look down here, the other entrance is right there. And this is the end product here. So I'm probably going to tape this right there so that the cable's not dangling, but we went ahead and zip tied it along the trunk here, and then we went ahead and tucked the cables behind the liner right here. All we have to do is place the push pins back on this specific piece, and then we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process on this side. So now that we've connected this side, we went ahead and routed the cable through there and through the trim right there, and then all the cables are connected in here and tucked away properly. We have one cable left, which is this one. It's gonna go connected right here and has to go all the way across, and it has to be connected over here. So the connection was right here. Went ahead and zip tied it along this cable, tucked it in back here, zip tied it along that cable right there, and then the connection was back here, that little cable right here. I just went ahead and tucked this in. Make sure you put all the push pins into the top portion of the trunk. You still have these two screws that go right there. Piece of advice, I would push the taillight in when you're screwing these in so that these are all the way in and they're sitting as flush as possible. The box came with these covers for the taillights right there. So we're gonna go ahead and put these on. If you guys have any questions regarding any of the steps shown in this video, drop a comment and I'll do my best to further explain your concerns. If you're interested in getting some of these taillights for your car, the specific product will be linked in my bio.